Hello, this is Mrs. Mousy and my assistant, Baby Mouse. Ooh, I have a good idea. Here, Baby Mouse. Let's get you something to stay entertained. You want to show them what you got? Baby Mouse has a baby mouse. Okay, well, for this lecture series, I was planning on her watching the Paw Patrol movie, which is what Ira was currently doing. No thanks, Slim. But she said she didn't want to watch it, and she wanted to be with me. So we'll see how well this goes. Have my notes here. So for this lecture series, I use that word because that's what Jordan Peterson says. This series is called The Art of a Healthy Meal. And it's all the things I have learned since I first journeyed down the health food path. That was in 2017. So it's been 6 years now. So this is just what I've learned. You can take it or leave it. But anyway, so this first one is just kind of a summary of what a healthy meal is, in my opinion. So maybe it would be helpful because our background, we didn't really eat very good growing up. And so I had some preconceived notions of what was healthy and what wasn't, which actually turned out not to be true. So some things that I thought were healthy aren't actually healthy. So let's start with what is not healthy. Easy things to avoid. Well, not easy. It takes a little bit of extra work, but it's simple, straightforward. So avoiding these things. Refined sugar. So this is cane sugar, or, you can look up different names of sugar so that you can kind of keep an eye on it in the ingredients list, but it's lots of things that end with ose, or there's a lot of sneaky sugar names. So reading ingredients is a must. So avoiding sugar, highly processed foods, you want to avoid those. So those ingredients they'll say enriched flour, and then, all those huge words that you can't pronounce. Those don't need to be in food. So avoiding those. Food coloring. So you can get plant-based food coloring, but really anything with food coloring is not good for you. It's banned in most other places of the civilized world, and the US has a very corrupt system between the people making food and the people approving the food. So there's just a lot of garbage going on. So yeah, avoid food coloring. So next on the list is inorganic meat and vegetables. Those, and it's kind of I don't really know yet if it's unhealthy, but it's definitely not the goal to eating inorganic meat and vegetables. It's not as bad as it could be because you're still eating meat and vegetables, but you're still not really doing or putting in your body what it needs. And I will go more in detail on that later. So, and if you're sensitive to anything, like me, it's gluten and dairy, which I'm assuming you probably have a sensitivity to dairy, just because you're my twin. But I guess you can handle gluten much better than I do, so I don't know. But anyway, things that are unhealthy for you, if you have a sensitivity and then you're indulging it and just kind of making your body suffer.
I need to go potty.
Okay, go potty. Can you go in the other bathroom?
Why?
Because I'm filming a video and I don't want to have potty noises in the background.
Well, you'll just know it's me.
Okay, go in the other bathroom. So yes, if your body's trying to tell you, I don't like this, and then you're repeatedly putting that into your body, your body's going to get louder and to get your attention, and we don't want to make our bodies do that because we want to honor our bodies. So in summary, what's not a healthy meal? Refined sugar, processed food, food coloring, inorganic meat and vegetables, and any food that you're sensitive to. Next up, what is actually in a healthy meal? It's pretty basic. What you want to do is you want to have a healthy carb, some vegetables, and a protein. That's it. That little trifecta. Carb, protein, vegetables, or fruit. So protein, this is your meat. It's especially important for people like you and Aaron, who are active and using your body a lot. You need to be able to burn that energy. The best types of proteins are white meats and eggs. Those are the best ones. So white. Hey, Iro, can you come close the door, please? Oh, Clemmy's got it. Yeah, so white meats. So that would be chicken or turkey. And I don't actually know if you like seafood because I hate seafood. But wild caught salmon and stuff like that. That's all white meat. Technically pink, but that's fine. And then it's super important to buy organic meat is what I learned recently. So I'm going to talk about that at a later time, why it's important. But yes, protein, meat. So healthy carb, next up on the list. Healthy carbs give you long-lasting energy without the sugar spike that bread or pasta would give you. So healthy carbs are things like brown rice or quinoa, or sweet potatoes are a great source of a healthy carb, or oats, as long as those are organic too. So yeah. And I don't know as much about white rice. I think white rice and pasta and white potatoes are kind of in the same category where they're just not super great for you, but they fill your, they're designed to fill your tummy. So they do that great, but and cereal too. Cereals, I'm not a fan of cereal because it's a lot of empty carbs, and often it's empty carbs and sugar. So anyway, get a good carb going. So we eat a lot of white and brown rice and quinoa and potatoes, sweet potatoes. Okay, moving on. So we have our protein, we have our healthy carb, and then lots of vegetables and fruit. So again, buying organic, especially for, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Dirty Dozen, but those are the fruits and vegetables that have the most amount of pesticides. So those ones you want to make sure you're buying organic. So great vegetables to buy. You want the color of the rainbow. You especially want greens. Those are all really healthy, have lots of vitamins in them. Low sugar fruits, berries and strawberries are the healthiest fruit, basically. I mean, apples are good too, and oranges, but they're high in natural sugar. So natural sugar is okay, and I'll get more into that later. So natural sugar found in fruit and carrots are high in natural sugar, but your body knows what to do with that sugar because it's natural. But that doesn't mean you want that to be the only thing. Like, don't just have a bunch of raisins and think you're meeting your quota. You want to have a good variety of, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, and sweet potatoes, just the healthy vegetables. I don't know how else to say it. So yeah, eating the color of the rainbow is good variety. And then, yes, so what we talked about so far. So we talked about what's not actually healthy. We talked about the basics of a healthy meal, how it's a protein, a healthy carb, and fruits and vegetables. And then the third thing I wanted to talk about in this lecture is buying organic. And this is kind of new for me because I've always wanted to buy organic, but I never quite realized how important it is, which is why we're doing it now. And it is slightly more expensive, but it's really worth the cost, especially if you figure out how to do that now and you practice over time. When it's just you and Aaron eating, it's going to be much less of an adjustment to make. I mean, I'm kind of being bossy, but it's because I care. Anyway, if you choose to make that adjustment, it'd be easier to do it now when there's 2 people versus a whole family, like what we're doing. So if you can only pick one, buy organic meat, because that's more important than the vegetables. Because organic meat, those animals are grass-fed, which means that they are eating the food that they're supposed to be eating, the way that God designed them to. Inorganic meat, they just kind of feed them whatever, like the filler food, like I talked about, where filler food for us is enriched wheat and bread and pasta and like stuff that just empty carbs. But what that does for animals is they have a lot of icky gut bacteria and like diseases and stuff, because they're not made to eat that food. And so they're just unhealthy, and then you're eating all of that unhealth. So getting grass-fed meat is important. Also getting cage-free, so cage-free eggs and cage-free chickens. Do they call cows cage-free? I'm assuming you want happy cows, not in cow factories. But anyway, so cage-free means that they're not going to be in a continual state of stress, so that they're not going to be full of stress hormones. Because when we eat meat with stress hormones in it, because it's in the meat, our body recognizes that, but it doesn't know that the stress hormone is from a cow. It just processes it as our own stress hormone. So if you're like me and you need as little stress as you can get, don't eat the meat of stressed out animals. So yes, grass-fed, cage-free meat, very important. And then for produce, if you've never heard of it before, look up the Dirty Dozen, and that's I think the most important food to get organic, just because they have the most pesticides. But really, just I'm trying to do everything. It's kind of hard to find it all in one place, especially because in Sandpoint, I'm not quite sure what kind of places you have up there. But the organic produce actually is far more nutritious than inorganic produce. Don't ask me how, but that's what my naturopath told me. So yes, it's better for you. It's worth doing. So, as I'm talking about this, I'm realizing kind of how bossy I'm being. But hey Clemmy, no, thank you. Can you hold up your mousey? I hope it's well received and that I'm not crossing a line. If I am, you can tell me and I can just go back to showing you, basic stuff. But I just have so much knowledge in my brain and I want to share it with you. So leave a comment. You can tell me if this is helpful or if this should be my last lecture in my series. What I wanted to go over next was just breaking down each category as far as protein and carbs and vegetables. And then replacements for what to avoid. So I wanted to go over what are good replacements for refined sugar and replacements for food coloring and, stuff like that. So most of the recipes that are in your folder, some of them are straight up just kind of classic American where it's using processed ingredients. A lot of mommy's recipes are that way, just kind of this not older, but I think you know what I mean. It's not trying to be like health food. Anyway, so some of my recipes are like that, and I think most of them you can pretty well adjust and make substitutes, but I'm exploring a lot of new recipes. A lot of recipes that are great I just search paleo recipe or even keto sometimes, and those are all helpful. So anywhoosies, please let me know if you want me to continue or if this is too much. I am open to either option. So, okay, little assistant mousy, you did a very good job. Is there anything that you want to say? Little mousy, what's your favorite food?
Ice cream.
Ice cream. can't beat ice cream. Okay, do you want to stop the button for me?